Okay, I'd like to call this regular Board of Education meeting to order at 7:50 p.m. this evening. Lisa, would you take roll call, please, for the second time? Here.
Here.
Thank you. Approval of agenda, additions, deletions, and chair's review of agenda highlights. So we got a late start, so we will be omitting some items this evening. We have contacted celebrating our faculty and students, everyone involved in that, and also celebrating our staff. So we will be tabling those items. That's item 4 and 5 this evening. Also, item C under new business, the K-3 reading update, we will table until the next meeting as well. I believe those are the only changes. Dr. Macri, did you have any other recommendations? Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended? Alan, second. Jen, all in favor?
No.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The agenda is approved. Correspondence. Do you have any correspondence this evening? Okay. Public comments. Is there anyone here for public comment tonight? Okay. Shall I read the rules of public comment to you, Ms. O'Leary? No. Can we waive that? Okay.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm here to speak on behalf of the Cromwell Public Schools Administrators Unit as the union president. On behalf of the Cromwell Schools Administrators Union, we would like to publicly thank the Board of Education and Superintendent Dr. Macri for their continued support in passing the proposed 23-24 budget with a 6.9% increase. Every day, we welcome students into our buildings and provide them with the support they need to be successful academically and socially. Every employee of the district is an integral member who helps us carry out our vision and motto of placing students first. This budget provides us with the necessary paraprofessionals, custodians, nurses, cafeteria staff, office staff, administrators, and teachers to meet the needs of our students. As role models to our young, impressionable students, we believe it is important to value all individuals by treating them with kindness, compassion, and respect. As elected officials, you have faced unprecedented challenges, and we appreciate how you have faced these challenges with the same kindness, compassion, and understanding that we try to instill in our students. We thank you for your continued support. From the Cromwell Schools Administrators Unit.
Thank you very much. Okay, report from student representatives. We do not have them here this evening. Reports of liaisons from the Town Council, Board of Finance, CMS Building Committee, and Fields Committee. I don't see anyone here tonight for that. Who's this for me? Oh. So we will move on to superintendent's updates and responses to Board of Ed comments and action items from the prior meeting. Dr. Macri.
I'll be very quick. We have so many things to celebrate. We have so many wonderful things going on, and Kelly Maher, our athletic director, will be up soon enough to talk about all of our winter sports accomplishments. I can't remember them from day to day, which is, I always joke when I said we better be the home of the champions because we have it written all over the gym. Well, we pretty much are the home of the champions, so I guess we could keep our banners up. But I also really would like to take a moment to thank Carly Nelson, Miss Carly Nelson. She was the director of the play, Seussical, the musical, and assistant musical director Michael Schmidt, and the assistant production director Nicole Whitehill, and all the volunteers, the booster clubs, the students, and all the families. I was so excited about this, and I got the stomach bug, so I couldn't go. But someone told me we may not raise as much money as we usually do, and I believe that we may have sold more tickets than ever, Chairman Kelleher. We did.
Never doubted.
Never doubted it. No, you're
Sold out,
all
right?
sold out, yeah. I know, I could have given away my tickets. So just thank you to everyone. They worked so hard on it, and the kids were so excited, and integrating the elementary students was just awesome. So thank you to all of them, and to everyone who worked it.
Okay, thank you. And just to clarify that comment, it was going from Mamma Mia and some other types of presentations to Seussical. I wasn't quite sure how it would go over, but it was fabulous. So
It's an
well
inside
done.
joke. The fresh, we all know the fresh ones I'm not so happy about. And
The children loved it, and I did too. Okay, presentations and reports of administration, the 2022-2023 budget update, reference B. Ms. Burke?
Good evening. In your packet is a brief memo and our budget summary for the month ended February 28th. We've been working extremely hard looking at every purchase order that we have open, and we have managed to close the deficit. So I'm very happy to report that to you. We do anticipate some additional expenses, and we are going through purchase orders to make sure we can close anything that we may not need. Sometimes things change throughout the year, so I'm hopeful that we can kind of balance what we need to accomplish in the next few months by evaluating some open purchase orders that we have. So that's where we stand right now. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Sure.
So I just want to interject. In order to do this, I don't want anyone, especially you, to think that this is an easy task. Our students have gone without, and we're late, and it's late, and the weather is bad. But I did have my principals prepared and my directors prepared to let you know everything we have gone without in order to close this gap. Because when we froze that budget, it was security, safety, and then just a few, a lot of things, you know, when our students win events, to pay to get into those events. Everything else has been completely frozen. We're talking about staffing, and we're talking about supplies and equipment. So at the March 28th meeting, I will have the administrators and the directors give you an idea of everything that we have gone without so that we can make this happen. I don't want you to think this was is an easy task, but we'll spare it for the 28th.
Are there any other questions? Matt?
The main factors that led to, you know, we have a budget for a reason and we try and stay within it. The main factors that led to us going outside of that budget and then winding up kind of having to freeze and being in trouble, that inflation, right? Was there some building maintenance issues? And
Utilities.
and then increase in special ed costs as well?
Utilities was a big hit for us this year, special education. I mentioned at the last meeting, our homeless student population that requires transportation is astronomical, and it's really being felt in all the districts, not just ours. That was a very large, unexpected expense, and unfortunately, it may continue. One thing I can say is if you do look on the final column of this report, you can see the areas that are not being expended. For example, instructional supplies, maintenance supplies, other supplies and materials. So those are the things that we haven't been able to spend money on so that we can kind of close the gap for energy, utilities, pupil services, tuition. So there's a multitude of items that have caused us to have to freeze the budget and work to find those savings that we can, or maybe not even savings, just lack of getting things that we do need.
Thank you.
So I did ask Dr. Macri to explore that because, you know, when you say instructional supplies, what does that mean to us? So we'll spare us all for tonight and have that at the next meeting, but we obviously don't want our kids to go without, and I'm just interested in what types of things those might be, whether they're, you know, something like markers or tissues, if they're small items like that, or larger items, because we don't. From the top to the bottom. Yeah.
I get emails about tissues. How many can I order? How many boxes? That's where we're at, is that I am approving how many boxes of tissues to be able to get us through the end of the year.
And we don't want everything to be that tight, in my opinion. So, Alan, did you have?
Question on the transportation, the buses are all under contract, right?
That's correct.
We've done. How do we handle these surprise, you know, homeless situations?
For the homeless transportation?
Are they contractual, are they per diem, or how does that work?
They are per diem, and we're using many, many different transportation companies because DADCO can't do this for us. So we have to go out and look for other transportation companies that will transport those students to where they need to go.
10 times the rate.
Yes, the cost can be,
Are we doing this by ourselves? I drive around town and, I go by Attlebrook and stuff. I mean, there's transportation, vans, cars lined up for quarter mile. Is there some way to coordinate if we're picking someone up from this town, we're taking,
We do.
Anytime we can find a way to coordinate, we do. It doesn't always work out. We could have children that are many towns over. It doesn't matter where the children
right.
end up. We are responsible. They could be, on the shoreline. They could be anywhere. So so in a lot of cases, we're not able to combine those routes, but we do work the best we can to do that.
If we could ride share, we are all, like, the consortium is very tight. Hartford, we all ride share as much as we can. Some of the things that you might be seeing is, in particular, with, perhaps special schools. Yeah, it may only be a. Yeah, yes,
Okay, any other questions for Ann? All right, thank you, Ann.
Sure.
Maybe, maybe not. Old business, draft budget presentation for the Board of Finance, reference C in your packets. So we did, Dr. Macri and Ann Burke did meet with
Sure.
Board of Finance Chair John Ireland, and he had some items that he thought in our last budget could be enhanced or highlighted and just for a different audience. So they were able to put together a slightly different look to the budget, but this all the same information. So did you have any?
No, I just wanted to make sure, as we said, we're doing everything we can to work with the Board of Finance and really try to, what you now know, I'm sure those of you that joined the board a year ago, you just know so much more, right? So the Board of Finance has a different level of expertise, and really it comes down to the bottom line, the bottom line. So some of the questions that they've had over the years that we have had difficulty answering, we've tried to give a visual for. So this is a draft. I'm pretty sure it's going to stay this way, but I wanted you to see it first before I brought it to the Board of Finance on April 4th at 6 o'clock p.m. If you have any questions about the new slides, I'm more than happy to answer them. Otherwise, you'll hear the presentation on April 4th.
Catherine, you have a question?
Did the Board of Finance receive their packets already?
Not yet. We're, Ms. Burke, when are the Board of Finance scheduled to receive their binders?
I was asked to provide the information for the Board of Finance by a week from Thursday, and I will be ahead of that goal. I'm shooting for Monday the 20th to get that information to the town. I don't know when they'll be distributed once I get them to the town. They have a certain schedule that they do for their Board of Finance distribution, just like we do for the Board of Ed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Are these teaching and learning mandates, are they state, federal, a combination?
Everything, right? So that's a good question. So let me just quickly go to that slide. The NEAS accreditation we have to do, it's state. K through 3 right to read legislation is a state legislation, and we were going to talk to you about the waiver that we're one of the districts that applied for the waiver, but we'll talk to you about that on the 28th but it's pretty awesome, and I want to really thank the people who worked on it. The development of an interdisciplinary STEAM middle school, that we chose as a school system to go with a STEAM middle school with our new school. Adoption of the CSDE model math curriculum is a state mandate. Curriculum alignment to standards district-wide is a state mandate and a district goal, and everyone has to do that. And development of a new teacher evaluation program is a state mandate.
New meaning a new teacher or a new total program?
New protocol,
Okay.
yeah. How do you,
Any other questions? And you can always email questions if you come up with some later. Dr. Macri will get back to you. Okay, so we will move on to new business, the Cromwell High School Winter Sports Acknowledgements, reference D in your packets. And for that, we have Kelly Maher. First of all, I want to just thank you so much for putting this extensive list together. Initially, I thought we would have everyone here to celebrate and everyone would take pictures. And then I saw the list and I said, that's probably not going to be possible. So if you want to run us through them, thank you very much. And we're very proud of them.
Sure. There are some changes to some of this in your packet because of the outcomes of last night. So I'll update you on those. But we currently still have 4 teams competing in the winter sports season, and spring starts on Saturday. So it's nice to have, this many teams still in it. But indoor track, we did have 7 first-team All-Shoreline Conference winners in their events. We lost by 1.5 points to Coggins on the boys' side. So in terms of points, track is like an individual sport. However, 1 through 6 place. So all those points are accumulated together. So to lose by 1.5, they were right there. It did come down to the last event in terms of they were waiting for those scores to come in to find out who won the championship. And it's been quite a while since Cromwell has even been competing on the boys' side for track. We did have a state champion in the 4x200 relay of Paul Wimbash Barraza, Jared Semper, Davion Lovelace, and Jaden Wynn. They went on to the state open, and unfortunately they got DQ'd in that because they ran out of their lane. But they were state champions in our division. Wrestling, Matt Gish, he came in second in his division in the 152 weight division. He qualified for the state open. He made it past day 1 and came in 9th overall. And he is currently a sophomore. Girls ice hockey, they lost in the quarterfinals of the state tournament. They scored the last goal, I think, with a minute left, so they were right there. And unfortunately, they ended up, getting out there. Cheerleading is currently still competing. They won the Shoreline Conference. They came in second in Class S, which qualified them for Team of the Year, which they just competed in last weekend. They came in 17th there, and they will be competing in the New England Championship, which is the first time in several years that they've qualified for that, and that will be this Saturday at Worcester State University. They did have 3 all-conference cheerleaders and 3 all-state cheerleaders. Girls basketball, they had 1 all-conference first team, 2 second team all-conference, and 1 honorable mention. They made it to the Shoreline Conference Finals, lost there, and they just lost last night in the semifinals of the state tournament. Boys basketball is still competing. They were the Shoreline Conference champions. They also have the Player of the Year in Victor Payne. They had 3 all-conference players. They are in the semifinals of the state tournament. They play tomorrow night at Waterford at 7. If they win that game, they will go on to Mohegan Sun this weekend. It will be either Saturday or Sunday. It's a family-friendly atmosphere. It's a great event. The town of Cromwell is really supportive there. They come out and really support anyone that gets there. And we also have, in boys basketball, John Panone, our boys coach. He is a finalist for the National High School Coach of the Year. So he'll be going out to Lincoln, Nebraska to receive that honor. He is one of 8 left nationally. And there's only 2 coaches in Connecticut that were selected as finalists. He is the only one for basketball, and the other coach is for a different sport. So that is in July. Let's see. Boys ice hockey. They are the CCC champions this past season. They won last night. One of our players, Harrison Ranger, he had a goal and an assist. He had the winning goal last night in the 3-2 outcome. They were supposed to be playing in the finals on Thursday night. That got moved. They will be playing Monday at 7 at Quinnipiac University. That's also, for those that go to the hockey rink, it's a great atmosphere down there at Quinnipiac. You can sit right up there on the ice. They have the glass there. They play the music in between. And if you go there, you see it's a lot of families sitting together, and the high school kids all sit together as well. And then we also have boys swimming. That's also still going on. Our freshman, Nolan Bishop, he swam the other day, and he qualified for the state finals in the 50-meter free and the 100-meter free. And that meet will be tomorrow at Southern Connecticut State University. It was postponed from today. So we still have competing cheerleading, boys basketball, ice hockey, and boys swimming currently.
Wow. That is a lot, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting this list together, and congratulations to all of our athletes. and to the teams and all the coaches, especially Coach Pannone. We'll wish him luck in July. Were there any questions from the board? Matt?
And Sierra Vasquez is Coach of the Year.
She was the conference coach of the year for cheerleading.
That's awesome.
Emily Sousa was the
Player of the-
cheerleader
cheerleader
of the year for the conference too. Sierra Vasquez, it's her second year as head coach. Yeah, she's
And
good.
cheerleading is back-to-back champions. They won last year as well for the conference.
Do you remember putting a list like this together last year? Is this
Um,
more
yeah,
than
I-
usual?
It's for the winter. We're pretty active this winter.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the few where we're still competing in a lot. Like every night there's something.
Excellent.
So-
Any other questions for Ms. Maher?
With that being said, that means Mr. Kuckel, Miss Binghamton, Miss Maher are out almost every single night, taken away from their families. So a huge thank you to them, and they make it look seamless. And it's really a huge responsibility trying to be in 3 places at once, as they all, one's in Clinton, one's at the boys' game, one's at the girls' game. So thank you to all of you, to all 3 of you.
I think they deserve a round of applause. I didn't realize someone was at all of these events. I thought you did it all, Ms. Maher.
There's only one of me. But no, once you reach the state tournament, it's required you have to have someone at all the events. And unfortunately, when you play at the same time, it tears the crowd away, splits the crowd, and splits us up. But they're great. They help us out, so thank you to them.
Thank you very much. It's very appreciated, and we look forward to spring. Hopefully you get a little break in between. A couple days. Saturday. Okay, next on our agenda, we are moving on to item D, the para positions historical data update. And Dr. Macri will take us through that.
I'll just invite Miss O'Leary and Miss DeMoro to the podium.
Sure.
There was just some talk at the meeting last time, and I really just want to share data with you as far as paraprofessionals, and it's historical data. And if you have any questions for Siri or Miss DeMoro, who Miss DeMoro's HR and is the hiring, and Sari O'Leary is our Director of Student Services. So she's just going to quickly give you a rundown of how many paras we had in 2017-18 and how many we currently have working with our students.
So I know that this obviously is in response to last meeting, so we wanted to give you some more data, and it was actually eye-opening too for me to get this from Lori Rosano, who helped pull the information, because I knew that over the past many years we have definitely added to our para union because of the need of students, but I didn't really know the volume that we actually added by, and it's eye-opening. So in 2017-18, we started with 44 paras, and this is it's a rough approximate because things change, and it is hard to get that true number. So I just want you to understand that, but it's pretty accurate. So we started with 44 paras. In 2018-19, we went up to 46. 2019-20 school year, we went to 49 paras. 2021, 64. 21-22, 63, and again, give or take when students, come and go. And then currently, we have 67 paras. So we've added 23 paras since 2017-18 school year. And I think that says a lot in terms of how we support our students here as a district. It doesn't go unnoticed when students have needs, and it is always our first priority to look if we need to add more adult support. And, we team together and we figure out how we can do it. And I just want you all to understand that I think I mentioned last meeting, the paras do so much for our students. They are there day in and day out for our most needy students. And I think this number speaks to the needs of the students that we have in the district, how the needs have increased, and the fact that we do, support them in every way we can. And if it's a matter of adding 23 staff members to the para union, we'll do it because if that's what it takes to keep our students in the least restrictive environment, then that's what we'll do. So I just thought that this information will be helpful for you to understand kind of a bigger picture. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them are actually required based on students' IEPs. We've had to increase numbers as we've had special ed needs increase as well. So it's also important to point out, yes, we want to support our students, and we're doing a pretty good job of that as far as staff numbers go. But I would also assume that these increases have happened because of the increase in the special ed population.
Certainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, so that's where, that's really the driver behind this, is that
Yeah.
those numbers are increasing over time.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? No, I appreciate the report and the update, and it's comforting to hear that. I get the sense that we have what we need, and that's huge. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we need to go back to item B. It's an action item. I want to draw your attention first to reference A, which was the building committee report. Hopefully you had a chance to read through it. There was one item in there that we could talk about at some point, but they were looking to, they wanted to consider changing the logo at some point with the new building, possibly. So that's something that I talked to Dr. Macri about it, and we think that's something they can talk about amongst themselves and bring ideas to us, or maybe just a final sketch if that's what they choose to do. But I didn't feel the need to be too overly involved in that decision. Does anyone have any other opinion on that? Okay, so that's what I'll let Rosanna know. And then other than that, we did have a specific action, because the last action that we did at the last meeting did not include this very specific language that's needed for their process. So I have that here. And so to memorialize these decisions as an amendment to the educational specifications for the project, the Cromwell Board of Education hereby resolves, and here's the action item, to better support the performing arts components of the STEAM curriculum for the new Cromwell Middle School. The educational specifications are amended to require a stage of 1,300 square feet and an audience seating capacity of 500 seats. So in the past, I think that the motion was to increase it to 1,300 square feet, but it lacked the specificity about the 500 seats. So is there a motion? Sorry, Lori?
I feel like we talk about this every meeting.
We have.
Like, are we having the same, like, deja vu here? Like, how many times are we going to talk about this?
Yep.
Every time you go back to the state and they tell you about your application and things that, especially because it's related to STEAM, which is the arts, the more specific you are, the better off we are with getting the money.
Okay. Thank you, Alan. A second by Matt. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? We'll continue to do this. Okay. Motion passes. Thank you. And then moving on, item E is our SRO update and discussion. We did meet at our special meeting and have discussion during executive session. For security purposes, we thought that would be prudent, but just to generally let whoever may be watching our meeting, make them aware that at the most recent town council meeting, it was announced that they've unfortunately had to pull both of our school resource officers from the district temporarily due to a staffing issue. So our first officer, Officer Brooks, I believe was the first one, a few weeks ago was taken back to patrol, and Officer Pete just this week. So we're obviously very upset with this, and we want them back, obviously, but this is hopefully just temporary. And I just wanted to mention that this decision has nothing to do with any legislature being discussed about not supporting SROs. You may have seen that in the news. It's nothing to do with that. It's just strictly a temporary staffing position. And I did feel continued support from the town council and from our mayor and from the police department, town manager, everyone. They understand the importance of the school resource officers in our district, and they will continue to patrol and be available. We have Detective Tolton, our former school resource officer, who will be continuing our DARE programs in the meantime. So we're really happy to have him back in the buildings, and the students, I'm sure, will be very happy to see him. In the meantime, we're looking at options to continue coverage, and we are covered. We're also continuing to be covered by the Cromwell Police Department. They are in close connection with us, and they will be patrolling our schools. So I don't want anyone to feel too nervous about that, but we are hoping to get them back as soon as possible, and we will keep everyone informed. Dr. Macri, was there anything you want to add that I might have missed?
No, I do believe they're going to do everything they possibly can, and they already are, making sure that they're visible in our schools, and we can rely on them for anything that we need. And I thank both of them because they truly love their job and they love being here. So I appreciate everything they do, and working with the chief and the captain and the town manager to try and resolve this issue as soon as possible.
Okay. Anything from the board? Anyone wants to add? Okay. Moving on to item F. We have it as an action item. I'm not sure that it's still an action item. Okay. And irrigation issues, quotes and updates. Dr. Macri.
Right. I can have Melinda answer questions, or I could go through this rather quickly. We have an irrigation problem. We have to replace a pump and upgrade an irrigation system and its accessibility. This has been going on for years. We are finally at the point where it's turned off now because it's seasonal. When we turn it back on, we are leaking 3 to 5 gallons of water an hour, and the water department is not going to turn the water back on for us. So I did ask for Melinda St. John to go out and get 3 quotes. They did talk about this at the town council meeting. Tomorrow we have a meeting with a collaborative meeting that I meet with some town officials, and I'm going to attend and talk to Lou Spina, Director of Public Works, and let them know that we can. Option 1 is to replace the existing pump at CHS, which is not repairable. That's $9,800. That still means you need the key. It's the old-fashioned, archaic way of doing it. We're just replacing a pump. We still need to go through all the steps that we've had to go through for the last 20 years. The second option is to replace the existing pump and to upgrade wireless controller technology at CHS. That is about $14,000. If we want option 2A, we want to be able to add the same wireless controller technology at CMS WIS to match CHS. That's a total of about $20,000. So tomorrow we will have this meeting, and I will discuss this with the Director of Public Works and see what they want to do. We have a good month ahead of us, so a decision has to be made. So we really can't sit on this. So hopefully tomorrow it'll be a successful conversation with the Director of Public Works. We do not have the finances, as you know, so this may be something that we will have to go to the Board of Finance to say we have no money and we need this done, and it needs to be done rather quickly. So I just want to let you know.
Is this a pump that runs essentially the whole irrigation system?
Yes, this
Like,
is right.
what I'm getting at is, like, we're not concerned that we're not irrigating.
Melinda, can you
like,
come up?
A little patch of grass in the parking area that we could just cover with stone. Like, this is a legitimate, we need this.
Is it for all the fields?
This is for all the fields.
Okay, that was the question.
Yep.
That's a problem.
Do you have any other questions because the technical questions would have to go to Melinda.
Does anyone have any questions? Kelly?
Is this going to be a split cost with the town, or would it just be us?
At the end of the
Or is
day,
that a touchy
we don't.
subject?
Well, I'm very honest. I'm sure no one will like to hear this, but you saw our number. I have $16,000. We've talked about some other things of how to spend money. We have not finished the year. We have a few other situations going on in special education and transportation. So I am going to be asking the town to pick up the cost, the full cost of this, and if that doesn't happen, I will have to move forward and, with all of your support, go to the Board of Finance and let them know we've run out of money and we have to do this, because people are afraid that I'm not going to turn the water on for students. It has nothing to do with me. We can't turn the water on. The water department won't turn the water on. This has to be done, and it has to be done soon. So it is a touchy subject. I'm assuming it's going to be because everyone wants to do, we want to do this, but at the end of the day, it's one pot. It's all taxpayer money, and I have no choice. We have no money.
So you're going to discuss it at the meeting tomorrow, and
Tomorrow
then bring
is-
it back
is
to
very
us
informal.
at the next meeting?
Well, we have to move rather
If you need
quickly.
to.
So, yes, and if, let me find out what happens tomorrow, and I will give you an update in my Friday update, and if we have to have at the end of the day, I'm going to need to go to the Board of Finance if it doesn't get financed. So I feel like there isn't really that much to talk about if it's got to get done. We don't have a choice. I don't want to hold anybody's feet to the fire, but the truth of it is that it has to get done. And if this was a year like any other year where we weren't in the red and we just got ourselves out of the red, when we're about to get ourselves in the red again, probably within the next couple of days, I would never go to the Board of Finance. But in this situation, I am going to ask the town to pick up the cost, or for the Board of Finance to pay for it, which is all the same money.
Just one other question. So the town currently has an athletic fields committee that's looking into some work being done on fields, maybe reorganizing them. This would not affect those pumps. This isn't like we're going to pay this money, put in these pumps, and then if we redo the fields in 2 years, those pumps are going in the garbage. I
No.
just want to make sure, because
No.
that
And-
would concern me.
And that's a great question, because it brings us to a few other things that we have to talk about at the building committee meeting tomorrow night, as far as irrigation, and how that's going to look. Because irrigation is not it wouldn't be part of the building specs, but there would be some irrigation issues that would have to be addressed for one of the fields on the middle school property, which is really actually technically town property. So that's going to be a discussion tomorrow night. Trying to keep all this in my head. It's a lot. It's a long-standing problem, and it just can't go anywhere more with it. I can't any further with it.
Would it impact when the new school is built and the old school is demolished and maybe the fields get moved around? Would you have to restructure anything? after
Melinda,
that? You would,
yeah.
Okay, so you would need another,
Not the pumps.
not,
But not-
repipe
you're not
it,
gonna
but not
replace these
repump
pumps.
it.
So this pump that has to be replaced is at the high school, but it controls all the fields in town?
No.
Okay. I'm confused now.
The high school pump is the one that is,
Can you just tip that down a little bit so everyone can hear?
the high school, is that on?
Is it red? Is there a red light? It should be red.
It's red?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Law.
The high school is the pump that is broken. It's only the high school's pump that needs to be replaced.
So it has nothing to do with the field orientation for the new middle school
But you're
then?
gonna
No.
connect it to the middle school.
No, that's where it gets a little confusing. There's a pump at the high school that needs to be replaced. It's 20 years plus old. They last 20 years. It's lived its life. And then there's an additional charge of $4,129 to make it a smart system, if you will, as opposed to the analog that it is today, which requires a human body to go and turn the dial every time, as opposed to using a phone and changing the app. So if it rains, you can change the schedule. It saves a lot of time, energy, and then we're adding that same smart technology to the middle school and to Wes.
Thank you. Any other questions on this? Okay. All right. Well, good luck with your conversation tomorrow. All right.
Trouble. I'll get myself into more trouble. I don't know how I do it, but.
Item G is an action item, approval of minutes and motions from February 7th regular meeting, reference F. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? Catherine, is there a second? Matt, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. The minutes are approved. And action, item H, approval of minutes and motions from our March 2nd special meeting, reference G in your packets. Is there a motion to approve? Dipty and Kelly, second. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions?
I'm abstaining.
Okay. Motion carries. Item I is an action item, stipend approval for 2022-2023, reference H in your packets. there any questions on this? And I don't know if we need Ms. Morrow to come up or not, but any questions? I did want to recognize Allison Doherty. It looks like she'll be retiring at the end of the year, so that's congratulations to her. But according to her letter, it looks like she wants to continue to work for us as a para, so that would be amazing.
Yeah, Mrs. Doherty has been working for us for 16 years. She's retiring, but she wants to come back as a para. I know, I was.
What happened?
We're so tired.
Did I
But we'll
move right
approve
on?
them. We got it.
Okay.
2 and 1.
Question.
And I caught right on.
All right, go back to the stipends. Girls softball and tennis.
I do. I just
On the
it's, and it's
stipends?
a quick one. It's the same question I was asked. This is already budgeted for. We're not adding money to the budget. Then I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Thanks.
So you'll make a motion? Okay. Second by Lori. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. They are approved. Okay, sorry about that. Now we can talk about personnel. So you
We
were
just
saying-
want to wish Mrs. Doherty the best, but she's retiring for her library media specialist position. But she did, in her letter, say that she wants to stay on and be a paraprofessional. She doesn't want to go to another town, so if we have a position, of course, we'd love to have her. So we wish her the very best of luck. And I think when the rest of the educators at the table, when we retire, I think we're going to be paras too, because it's so fulfilling, even though it's really difficult work, but it really is so fulfilling. So, wish her the best.
All right. Informational principal reports, references JH, JK, L, and M. Any questions on those? Okay, hearing none. We have no policies on for first read or second read. Board committee reports. Policy committee met this evening. Anything to report, Lori?
No, we had to cut it short, but we actually got through quite a bit.
Good.
So yeah, it was worthwhile.
Okay. Facilities and Technology Committee. We haven't met in a while. Jen, do you have anything? No. Okay.
But
Topics.
Jen, just quickly, at our next meeting, Melinda has a list of things that were, it's unbelievable. As you all know, our buildings are incredibly old. She does have a list of things that she's going to be bringing forward that we have to have serious conversations about, not that we're not, but how we're going to address them moving forward, this irrigation issue being one of them. And then we are going to still present our facilities study to the town council. Hopefully they'll do the facilities study, because what we know is bad enough, and what we don't know, we don't know. So hopefully we'll find that out. So that next meeting is going to be really important. So it better not snow. It better not snow. A slew. No, I wish to. Oh, if two, I wouldn't have all these gray hairs that I have to get dyed every single. Today, I come in and pour Polly's in a hole in the middle of the hall. Yeah, we have a lot of things that this middle school cannot come soon enough. Let's put it that way.
All right. Any topics for future agendas? We'll just need to circle back on our celebrating of students and also the K-3 reading update. Sorry about that, Dr. McLean. Okay. Comments, updates, and announcements from board members and administrators. We'll start with Matt. Alan?
I attended a ECS science fair. Again, that's pretty cool. That was pretty.
That's your thing. You do that every year, don't you?
Yes, those are pretty, those are fun. The erosion and thing, yeah, there was a lot of clever, a lot of volcanoes and things, a lot of sugar. Pretty cool.
All right, Lori? Dr. Macri, anything else? Catherine?
I agree. It was really cool. I went to the science fair with my daughter. We had a great time.
Nice. Jen?
I attended the play, and our kids are ridiculously talented, so good. Everyone just did an awesome job, and thank you to the directors and everyone involved. It was great.
Agree. Kelly?
I'd piggyback on that. We also went to the Susical, and it was great, and look forward to the middle school doing Mary Poppins next weekend.
Thank you. Dipti?
I'd just like to congratulate Sierra Vasquez. She's I work with her every single day. She's a wonderful person. She's a great coach. So I just wanted to put it out there.
Thank you. And Kelly Franklin, anything? All right. We do have an executive session, discussion concerning pending litigation and attorney-client privilege communication related to legal steps for addressing a personnel matter proposed for executive session. So is there a motion to go into executive session? And I will be inviting in Attorney McQuaid. And I believe that's all. Jen? Oh, yes. Motion by Jen, second? By Kelly C. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We are in executive session at 8:35.